The Word Celtic fans view this morning. Yes, it's the morning edition of the Deadline Day Bonanza. Deadline Day Bonanza will we be drinking a toast to Celtic actually getting their finger out in the transfer market and making some inroads? Or will we be sipping our coffee tomorrow morning in disbelief that Celtic once again have had a lackadaisical approach to the transfer market? There is a lot of news kicking about this morning. The fact that no loans unless price tags are fixed is foolish no more. And there is a couple of bits of news. First one is regards to Daniel Cummins. West Ham, as we know, yesterday put in a bid for 500 in the region of 500,000 for Daniel Cummins. Celtic threw it out. Wow. Celtic threw that out. Celtic rejected that bid from the opening bid from West Ham, quite rightly so, considering that, I mean, I know he's only got 6 months of his contract left, but when you look at the players that we've sold with 6 months, and if they're highly enough rated, and Daniel Cummins is highly enough rated, he would be a first team player for the rest of the end of this season, if he was staying at Celtic. Let's be honest. The fact that he came on in the Champions League, he would have, I'll put it in past tense, he would have been a player that would have been in and around the first team and hopefully scoring goals with Celtic. But Celtic have rejected the opening bid of 500,000 for the 18-year-old. Looks like they're trying to get closer to the 1 million mark. Will 750 grand do it? West Ham are said to be coming back in with a bid today to try and get the deal done and dusted. They have agreed a pre-contract agreement with the player. He wants away from Celtic, and it's just about the money men now doing the right thing. When you look at it, Brøndby are ripping the pure and utter piss out of Celtic when it comes to Matthias. It said that it was sorry, I didn't say this comment. Matthias and Brøndby are ripping the absolute piss out of Celtic, going for higher and higher bids. And it's a different format altogether. Yes, I know that Daniel Cummins is out of contract, but if Celtic can get more than £500,000 for the player, so be it. It's a fantastic piece of business by Celtic for a player that ultimately doesn't want to be at the club. So that's the morning news regarding Daniel Cummins. Now, there was a flight that left yesterday that had people thinking, oh, Matthias is on his way to Glasgow, and he wasn't. There was a private jet left yesterday, and people thought it's kids for garden. It's Fitzgarden. Matthias is on his way, but he's not. The flight from the Faroe Islands from Faro to Portugal is the training camp. But if there's a private jet kicking about, could it be the fact that this deal might still happen today? If there's a private jet already in the area for the player, it's going to be one of those days. It's going to be a late night at Celtic, just like the summer transfer window. I think that if deals do happen, it will be later on today. And then there's the Lennon Miller story that broke last night. I did put in the comment section, the community tab, the video that I put up over 2 months ago with the fact that Lennon Miller was going to come to Celtic for 5.3 million. It looks like that one may rear its head again today, and Celtic, it was suggested at that time, was going to the private jet from Faro to Glasgow around 2 p.m. arrival. Or was it? No, I wasn't online yesterday. I was at the pub, so I wasn't really bothering about it. I seen it this morning, and I thought it was worth talking about. But yeah, there we go. Doesn't matter. Private jet needs to be clearance weeks in advance. Private jet needs to have clearance weeks in advance. Not necessarily, because no comment. He's too expensive. Liam, I think we'll wait and see come the end of the window. It has been said that Brendan Rodgers has said that we're going to go for a lone striker to see us out to the end of the season, which that would be a bit rough. A little bit rough this morning. At the pub yesterday. What do you expect? Uh, yeah, it's rubbish, that rumour. Anyway, that's enough of the kids for the Chris Garden rumour, because he's not coming to Celtic. Celtic will get in a lone striker today and a lone day left back. It's looking like the only real serious signing that we will make is the Lennon Miller one. That's gathering pace again. And Baz has been on it. Did I look that bad this morning? Jesus, look rough as fuck, don't it? Anyway, it was a late night last night. No, it's not. But anyway, right, let's get on it. Fucking shut up, the Loys. So I think the Lennon Miller one is probably the biggest one that we could see happening today with any. But then we're just going to loan him back. He is injured, Lennon Miller. He is injured. And he is going to be back in training in the next week or so. I think if we get in Lennon Miller, it's going to be one of those late night ones again, the same as it was with Luke McCowan. And it could be the fact that Celtic 6 for second bid. Let's see, everyone's talking about it now. Everyone's talking about the Lennon Miller. So there's no smoke without fire. There is no smoke without fire. But it is going to be a case of we're going to be sitting. And let's face it, Celtic are now at the stage. When you look at it, there was a winger from Spain that Celtic were interested in this window. He broke his shoulder in a game, which ruled him out of a transfer in this window. I think that was one player that Celtic wanted to get over the line. They managed to get Jota in, which was fantastic. Jota crying yesterday, scoring that goal for Celtic, and it was written in the stars. It was written in the stars, wasn't it? For what time does the window close? 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock. Do we need, Joseph says, do we need Miller? Yes. When looking forward, yes we do. And I'm going to tell you why we need Lennon Miller. The fact that so many younger players are leaving Celtic from the academy and not being in and around the first team for the future. The fact that Lennon Miller is only 18-year-old for the Scottish contingent, and I've said before, I think that Lennon Miller could be a future Celtic captain. I said the same when Callum McGregor came through, so don't shoot the messenger. It's only opinion. I said when I first seen Callum McGregor come through the first team, I said that's a future captain, and I was right then. And I think that Lennon Miller could be a future Celtic captain also. We need him for the Scottish contingent, and you want players that really want to play for the club. You'll get foreign nationals that will come to the club and they've got one thing on their mind, and that's coming to get a big payday at Celtic and then move on to a bigger league. And that's the reason that I think that if you can imagine Luke McCowan and Lennon Miller in the midfield in a few years' time, you've got to be thinking 3-4 years down the line. You've got to be thinking 2 or 3 years down the line. He's only 18. He's got lots of football he's going through his football education, as the manager would say. But anyway, when it comes to the striker, where everyone is in the dark, there has not been one iota of any striker that we're going to get on loan. There's nobody's got any snippets of the striker that we may get on loan today. Brendan Rodgers is going down the loan route because he doesn't just want to go and get a striker for the sake of it. He wants to get the striker that he wants. Could it be the fact that they will go back to Brøndby in the summer and get Matthias in the summer? They don't want to sell him until the summer, but will they have dropped their price by then? And that's the worry for me, that we could have got Matthias about a year ago for 4.6 million. We went in with a bid of 4.2 or something ridiculous, and they said no. And we're penny pinching over hundreds of thousands when we've got. And I'm not even going to talk about the money, but anyway, it is what it is, and we need to wait and see. And the left back, we need a left back in. We will get a left back in on loan. That'll put McCowan right down the pecking order. Not Jim McClarty. I don't think it would put Luke McCowan down the pecking order, because Rio Hatate will leave the club this summer. You have to be thinking a window or two ahead. Rio Hatate will not be at Celtic long term. Rio Hatate will leave the club. Arnie Engels will be sold on in the future. You've got to think 2 years down the line. And that's what Brendan Rodgers is trying to do with Celtic. He's trying to make sure. I mean, this is why he wanted Daniel Cummins to stay at the club. He wants Daniel Cummins to stay at the club because he's a striker that's going to grow and grow. And, he's on fire for the B team. And I just think that it's a shame that it looks like that Celtic will sell him. Rio leaving in the summer, we need a playmaker in midfield, says Jason Lee. Yep, exactly. Miller McCowan in midfield is be absolutely fantastic in a year and a half's time. They will be the mainstay. And if you think about it then, what Brendan Rodgers is currently doing, he's bringing in players on 5-year deals, 4-year deals, 5-year deals. He's building the club for the future. He's future-proofing. He's only got a year on his contract left after this season. There's no way that Brendan Rodgers he's making sure that the club is going to be in a fantastic position going forward. But it's going to be a case of, we shouldn't be forgetting about Paulo Bernardo. He has a lot to offer. Yes, he does have a lot to offer. And it could be the fact that the future, in 2 years' time, you've got Paulo Bernardo, you've got Luke McCowan, and Lennon Miller in midfield. And we're doing a disservice to Callum McGregor, because Callum McGregor is still going to be here in 2 years' time. But do you think Taylor contract today, the way things are going? Taylor is the man that has got the club by the cojones. Taylor's walking about the dressing room at Celtic Park, knowing the fact that he's the safest man at Celtic Park right now. He's the safest man at Celtic Park after Callum McGregor for getting time on the pitch. He'll not get dropped because he's the only left back we've got. And it could be the day. You never know. The stranger things have happened. Celtic might just go, do you know what? Just give him the money. Give him the money to make sure that if anybody comes in my worry about today is, if anyone comes in for a bid for Greg Taylor today, does Greg Taylor go, they're offering me 30 grand a week, I'm going? If somebody comes in and offers Greg Taylor 30 grand a week today, I mean, it's fine as turning down an offer for Daniel Cummins from West Ham. That's fine. It's fine as turning down offers for younger players. But if anyone comes in today for a cheeky bid of 1.5 million, 2 million for Greg Taylor. Remember this time last year, David Turnbull was sold for 3 million with 6 months left on his contract. David Turnbull was out of contract in the summer. We got 3 million for him. If anyone comes in today with a bid for Greg Taylor, Celtic are up. Do you think Roberto Carlos? Taylor thinks he's Roberto Carlos, says T1. That's my worry about today. That's how crazy the situation is. It's how crazy the situation is. And I think that Nicholson must have told Brendan that the potential deal to bring in Tierney must have been closer than what they thought, because that was the only way. Kieran Tierney coming back to Celtic was the get out for Celtic then saying to the young Barcelona kid, Alex Bailly, that he could go back to Barcelona. And Barcelona was fully aware of that situation. And then for Arsenal to throw a spanner in the works saying, no, you're not getting Tierney. Ren and Como signing players left, right. Yeah, exactly. Como have got big ambitions though. Says Fabregas brought them up the league for the first time in 21 years. It says Fabregas is going back to old school football. There's an interview, says Fabregas, you need to try and watch it. He's talking about going back to players having freedom on the pitch rather than players going through a training session and say, right, when this happens, you have to move here. There's a passage of play. Says Fabregas is trying to get players that can think for themselves and get back to that old school football that he thinks has been sucked out of the modern game. Says Fabregas thinks that the modern football player can play in any position. A striker can play in defence because the tactical and the training that they're given is that specific to an area. It's like you've no freedom to think. You've no freedom to think, and that's what they're doing. Inter Milan plays crazy free-flowing system. Yep. Rotating Maeda, Jota and Kun either could work nicely, hopefully another season together. My big worry is obviously they've got Jota in for a reason. I think Celtic will be expecting a 20 million plus offer to come in for Nico Kun in the summer. And I think that is why Celtic allowed Brendan Rodgers to bring back Jota. And I think that is the reality. Don't think that we brought back Jota for some, let's bring him back because he's a fantastic player. Yeah, we did that. But I think Celtic allowed Brendan Rodgers to go out and bring Jota back because Brendan Rodgers would say, look, I'm not going into the Champions League qualifiers with a half-baked team that's put together 3/4 of the way through the transfer window in the summer. We need players in now to make sure that we get into the Champions League in the summer. And the board have put that at risk. What the board have done this transfer window has put the Champions League next year at risk because we need to qualify. But as they've got that fear by tomorrow, they'll be bringing in some shit from free market. No, they won't be, Neil. I think Brendan Rodgers said yesterday that they will not bring in a player just for the sake of it. They'll bring in a player on loan. And he will wait till the summer to get the preferred striker that he wants. Arsenal don't need KT. Artea's been a ball bag. Yep. Lots of private jets heading into Glasgow, Stephen says. I don't think anything's going to happen this morning with Celtic. I'd be very, very surprised. Did Rodgers bring back Jota or was he told? Says Jim. Well, that's a question to Brendan. I think Rodgers would have brought him back. I think that they would sat down. The club will know if there's been any inquiries about Nico Kun. And, things are spoken about way in advance before the media gets a hold of it. And if there's been any speculation at all, any contact at all from any club for Nico Kun in this window, and Celtic have rebuffed it and said, not a chance. Not a chance. I mean, all it takes is a club to phone up and say, what's the availability of Nico Kun? And Celtic go, there isn't. As simple as that, there isn't. And then they'll go, okay, we'll come back in the summer. Right, fine. That then gets the alarm bells going at Celtic Park. Brendan Rodgers has to be told about that conversation. And Brendan Rodgers goes, right, you get us in, you get us Jota back. I want Jota back because if there's even a 10% chance of Nico Kun being could you imagine it? I mean, there's the scenario. Nico Kun sold for 20 million plus in the summer, and we'll get Jota back for 8 million. It's a no-brainer from the Celtic board's perspective. It's a no-brainer. They then say, okay, we'll spend the 8 million, get Jota back, so that you've got a fantastic winger for going into the Champions League and for next season. And that's all it's about it. Deadline day wingers, Jota and Kun. Yep, Kun was invisible yesterday. Well, he was. I'm going to say that. I said that to Big Joe in the pub. I said Kun was a bit quiet the first half. And you would think that with Jota being back, Kun would go, do you know what? I'm going to go all out. I'm going to go all out to prove that I'm better than Jota. And even a half-fit Jota, who managed to score a fantastic goal thanks to Dyson Maeda. And Dyson Maeda, I mean, when he gets the ball at the edge of the box, he knows that he's a little bit far out, but he doesn't even think about scoring. He looks to see where Jota is, and he just lays it on a plate for Jota. And then Jota bursting into tears. Couldn't seem to be off his game lately. Is it the fact that Kuhn's off his game because even his agent knows that there has been an inquiry and Celtic have rebuffed the inquiry? Could be that. It could be that. I saw Kuhn score an overhead kick, but yeah, he was quiet. Sarah, he was quiet in the first half, but by Kuhn's... He did score a fantastic overhead kick, but in the first half he was quiet. He was quiet in the first half compared to what he usually is. Don't get the Taylor hatred. The boy puts in a great cross, and the defender, we cannot afford a world class in every position. Breaking news: Real Madrid and Vance talk with Nico Raskin. Fuck off. The biscuit tin needs opened. I don't think it's the biscuit tin. I just think it's the board making sure that the club is financially stable. If the club are thinking ahead to the summer, thinking, if we've got to qualify for the Champions League and we don't do it, like we've never done on many occasions, we need to make sure that we've got money in the bank to spend on transfers, and if that doesn't happen, Nico Kuhn will be sold. So we've been through it before. Maybe we aren't always right. We are the right wing bias yesterday. Yeah. McGregor immune from getting subbed. McCowan will soon be pissed off coming on for Engels, our 11 million luxury penalty taker. Interesting. It's interesting. I think Luke McCowan knows that you have to listen to some of the interviews that Luke McCowan has done. People should stop. You need to listen to what players say. Luke McCowan has said in many interviews that he didn't think he was getting as much game time as he's had this season already. That's Luke McCowan said that, his own words. The Huns have no surrender branded EasyJet on standby. So they have. But you have to listen to what Luke McCowan said, and he said many times that he didn't think that he would get as much game time as he has already. He thought he was going to have to work harder to get into the squad and get some first team games. Luke McCowan's our fifth choice, and he knows that. I don't think he's our fifth choice. You need out of the midfield three, you need at least one for every position. So I would say he was more second choice than fifth choice. You do have to have two players for every position, and he does that. Anyway, young left back from Hearts looks decent. Well, we're not going to go for him on loan. We're not taking him on loan. Taylor, brilliant. Someone's drunk early. I'll just do a little update. What about Kyogo? He got a new record yesterday. Yes, Kyogo got a new record playing for Rennes. Celtic reject Cummins' bid. Yes, we've already spoke about that, Neil. We spoke about that about 15 minutes ago. We spoke about the fact that Celtic have rejected and they're looking for more money. I'm leaving Sky News on all day. Hopefully hear a couple of signings, says Big Des. I will be on later on this afternoon. I will be Anglin Ayrshire. Kalmark, Engels, Hatate, Paolo, then Luke. Yeah, but he doesn't fit every single position. Do you know what I mean? It's like we're actually a midfielder short because we need two midfielders. We need another midfielder. You need one for every position. So we're actually a midfielder short. Constant rotation, we need to get used to it. Yeah, it is constant rotation, we need to get it. Pay Motherwell what they want for Lennon. He's the next McGinn. We'll soon see what happens today, because there's a lot of media now talking about the fact that Lennon Miller will be a late addition to Celtic, a bit like Luke McCowan in the last transfer window. You got to remember that the Luke McCowan deal was the last deal to get done by Celtic. He was the last deal to get done by Celtic in the summer. He was the last one to get done. It was around about 10:30 at night. Remember, they switched the lights back on at Celtic Park for Luke McCowan deal to get done. So it was a late one. So I reckon that this one will happen late on. But you never know. Celtic might get their finger out, and Michael Nicholson might just walk into the office this morning and go, "Oh, right, we're ready to get some work done, lads." And there's Brendan Rodgers would be standing going, "You fucking wanker." What is that? No, I can't. Go get your mama. Go get mama. Go get her. I know, I'm on YouTube. Get away. Go and get your mum. He stands out at Motherwell and talk about. I think Lennon Miller will be loaned back. He will be loaned back to Motherwell, just so that Celtic can watch. We don't need him right now. But I think that will be the bit that gets the deal done today. And I did put out a video a few months ago where it said that Celtic would pay 5.3 million 5.3 million for Lennon Miller and loan him back to Motherwell. That video was out 2 months ago that I did that video, and I still think that will be the case. Celtic will put on added extras. They'll put on a deal that will make sure that Motherwell can sell the player to Celtic today, loan him straight back to Motherwell. So that he can play with Motherwell to the end of the season, and then there'll be a hefty sell-on clause. Kieran Ralston-Taylor had a great game. How good was Big Ralston yesterday? Never put a foot wrong. I've got to say, that cross that came in, for Ralston right at the beginning of the game was absolutely sublime. Fantastic. We have strength, but this season, 1 or 2 injuries can upset the balance of play. Yep. It is that. Right, so the headlines this morning is the fact that Celtic have rejected a bid of just under 500,000 for 18-year-old Daniel Cummins. West Ham are going to come back in with an improved offer today. It's believed that Celtic want closer to £1 million for the player. They are playing hardball after Brøndby. After all, they're playing hardball with us. Lennon Miller, Motherwell previously rejected an offer just over 2.5 million for Lennon Miller in this transfer window, but Celtic look as if they will return today, a bit like the Luke McCowan scenario, and make another bid for the player. And will he be added to Celtic's loanees? Will he be put back out on loan? Johnny Kenny, I've got to say, he must be thinking today, because Brendan Rodgers, remember when Johnny Kenny came back, Brendan Rodgers said we need to think about what is best for Johnny Kenny. Do we keep him here and have him in and around the squad, or do we put him back out to get some more football? So there's Brendan Rodgers who's got a lot of talking to do today. The players obviously will get some time off today, but Brendan Rodgers will be in at Lennoxtown with all the other backroom staff, talking about what players are going to get in, what players may or may not leave today. And my big worry, my biggest fear, and it is unbelievable that I'm going to say this, but my biggest fear today is if a bid comes in for Greg Taylor. Now, the man, yes, I have said that Greg Taylor, coming into the last 6 months of his contract, should be sold at this point, so Celtic can profit off the player if he's not going to sign a contract. But the situation that the hierarchy at Celtic have now found us in is the reality is we need to keep Greg Taylor to the end of the season. Not getting Kieran Tierney in was a massive mistake. Allowing Alex Bailly to head back to Barcelona and then head out on loan to Como was ridiculous. And the fact that we're now clambering about to get a loan player to come in. Greg Taylor has the club by the cojones this morning. He has. We're fucked if that happens, Spaz. If there's a bid comes in today, for Greg Taylor, I think it's get yourself in crash position because it is that crazy of a situation. Celtic should not be in the situation where we're held over a barrel when it comes to Greg Taylor. That situation should have been sorted out a long time ago. Brendan Rodgers said that he knew that Kieran Tierney wasn't coming to the summer. He said that was always the plan. He had that in his head that he was coming in the summer. If it happened early, it would have been a bonus. But the thing is, do you think that Johnny Kenny will go on loan to Middles? I don't think so, Tom. I think if that leaves us. It leaves us short in the strikers department again. It leaves us. I don't think Johnny Kenny will go anywhere. Taylor's now number 2 over Tierney. Yeah, but are Celtic going to pay 25 grand a week for someone to sit on the bench behind Kieran Tierney? And you could say that Kieran Tierney, he's not going to play every week. Scales, decent left back opportunity for now. He's a bomb scare centre back, so left back's a safer space for him, says Boyford Benny offer. It could be true. If we brought in KT now, the fee and wages would probably be around 6-7 million to get the deal done. Money to pay Arsenal off KT wages. Yeah. But Kieran Tierney would be losing around about 2 to 3 million in wages. And would Kieran Tierney be willing to do that? Hail for the Coventry Emeralds. Cracking bus. the cover of the Emerald bus as a cracking bus. Are you boys still sitting in 111? As long as we don't end up with Shankland, I'll sleep happy. I don't think we'll end up with Shankland. Not a joke. Not a joke. We're going to have no left backs. Well, we will. We'll still have. I think the unfortunate position is that Celtic can go head into the summer, and we may not get. We will get Kieran Tierney in the summer, but we may need another left back in the summer. If Celtic do the unbelievable, which pure by chance is going to have to happen now. Pure by chance it's going to have to happen. We're going to have to keep a hold of. We're going to have to keep a hold of Greg Taylor because we've no other left backs. I mean, you could say you could put Liam Scales out there, but then we still need another left back. We still need another left back in. If Greg, this was what could happen today. A bid comes in for Greg Taylor. Greg Taylor goes, I'm going there because they're offering me 30 grand a week. And Greg Taylor goes, adios amigos, we're off, right? You then put Liam Scales at the left back position, but we're still short. We're still short at left back. We still need to bring another left back in on loan. Now, whether Brendan Rodgers, but then we still need a defender. If we put Liam Scales out to left back, that'll be two central defenders that we're missing because Scales is left back and Stephen Welsh is a central defender. So we're then two central defenders down, which means Mark Nabrowski could also be out the door today. Celtic are in an unbelievable position. Bid for Andy Robertson, 3 million. That wouldn't happen. Would you take a chance on the boy Murray for Dundee? He was decent. I don't know if he's a Celtic player. Sign Morelos tonight. For the league, we don't need another left back. Greg Taylor and Tierney for next season. Taylor will sign a new deal. Kyogo celebrating with Rennes fan yesterday. Looked so staged. Just saying. That's what I was going to talk about. Kyogo, yes, he broke a new record yesterday. He broke a new record. Any club in Europe, he had 6 touches the whole game, and he was taken off in the 60 odd minute. He only had 6 touches in the game. So thinking he was going to be a goal scoring sensation, and then put up front like a little performing Japanese doll. He's a little performing monkey. Shouldn't have said that. That's what it was. So staged, it was unreal. Never rate Shankland. He's not coming to Celtic. Kyogo who? Yeah, Kyogo who. He's another one that I've just. I'll spend the morning. No, I'm not, because I'm going out. We're heading away out. The live this afternoon. Kenny Miller on a 10-year contract. The live this afternoon will not come from the studio. It will come from a location unknown as yet, as I am heading out for the day because we've got family over. So it probably come from a Celtic pub. It'll probably come from a Celtic pub. I'm going to go. There's a Celtic pub that I know that I'm going to try and go to, and the live may come for that. There's not going to be anyone at it because it's the time of year when there's not many people going around. Feel sorry for Taylor. Who could blame him? Says Leslie Pithy. We need 2 centre backs next season. Trusty's not good enough yet. We need 2 centre backs as backup. And as it stands just now, we've already lost Stephen Welsh. If Liam Scales goes out to play on the left-hand side of defence, and then Martin Arobski goes, you know what, I'm not getting any game time, I'm leaving, and he gets sold today, we need to bring in 2 centre backs anyway. Cattrall, no, I'm not going to Cattrall. No, I'm not going to Cattrall. We're heading up to Brit Central, even further up the coast, heading up to Benidorm for a few hours. But as it'll be likely, Sky Sports will be going from stadium to stadium. Yes, it will that. So I'll be going from here to the pub. I'll do an outside broadcast later on today. We'll be doing an outside broadcast. What if Taylor is part of the killer deal? The killer deal? Oh, Jesus. Ida will be class for us. Adam Ida will be class for us. Adam Ida will make do you know what's funny? And you know what's really good about the situation with Adam Ida is the way that he's now performing. And every run that he makes, he's becoming the poacher striker. He's becoming that 6-yard box striker that we've been crying out for a while. It's where Kyogo would make runs and try and come in and that, but Adam Ida, he's got one thing on his mind, and that's to get in that 6-yard box, get right in front of goal, and so when crosses come in, he knows that he's going to get on the end of it. And Adam Ida, I'm sorry, but there's going to be a lot of people jump on the Emerald Bazaar. That's where I'm going. I'm going up to Benidorm, so I'll see what Celtic pubs up there. We're only going up for a few hours. We're visiting a couple of places today, and I will be doing outside broadcasts. How much time should we give Engels? It's halfway through a season. How much time did you give Nico Kuhn? How much time did you give Nico Kuhn before he came good? Nico Kuhn didn't come good until this season. You've got to give him at least half a season to get into it. Scary thing is their defence will get ripped apart by Bayern at the moment. We need another centre-back, and Taylor is on form. We need another centre-back anyway. Have we signed Lennon Miller? No, not yet. We haven't signed him as yet, but Celtic are looking to go back and make an offer for the player. West Ham table opening bid. Quite a few English outlets now talking about West Ham. I just got to chat with this. They have offered 500,000, but Celtic have rejected it. Yeah, they're just all. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, Daniel Cummins will be sold today. He will be sold today, but it could be the fact that Celtic might just go, do you know what? We need Daniel Cummins to the end of the season. There's so many permutations. If we don't get a striker in on loan, today, we're going to have to keep Daniel Cummins because he's then our third choice striker to the end of the season. I mean, we could turn around Celtic. Yeah, I know that, Paul. I should put it along the ticker, shouldn't I? Put it along the bottom. I'm just checking. Don't check this. I'm coming off the air in a couple of minutes. There we go. That's updated. That's updated for you. So that gets you the latest information. Celtic have rejected that. Come out at the beginning of the video. Celtic have rejected the West Ham bid. And Lennon Miller from Motherwell could be done and dusted within the next few. I think that the Lennon Miller one, where does everyone get their updated news from instantly? Usually Twitter. It's the easiest place. Twitter's the easiest place to get it from. Just go in and or just come here. Get Kenny out on loan, the SPFL team. But if we put Johnny Kenny out on loan, we don't have a backup striker. We don't have a backup striker, and people saying use Dyson Maeda as that. If we start using Dyson Maeda as that striker, the second choice striker, and then I could understand what you're saying, but to me that gives me the fear because that then puts Dyson Maeda in the shop window. And there's one thing I don't want to happen in the summer is we lose Nico Kuhn and Dyson Maeda. If that happens in the summer, if there's bids come in the summer for Nico Kuhn and Dyson Maeda, we're up we're up a creek. If we need a centre back, bring back Lagerbielke. Nope, he will be. I think there's a good chance. There's a good chance that Gustav may be sold today. They were going to put a bid in for Gustav for 1.75 million. There could be a case that he may be sold today. So you've got to watch that one. There's a lot of permutations of what may or may not happen today at Celtic. Lagerbielke could be sold. Kenny, we're going nowhere this window, says Paul Baird. Yep, I don't think so. Celtic need him too much as a backup. We need him as backup. We should keep Maida until he's 40 and then he runs at normal speed. I think Dyson Maida, I mean, there was a lot of talk. There has been talk. Lanky, I'm just reading your comment. You've just stole my thunder. And there's been a lot of talk of Dyson Maida not being happy and want to leave the club. What about some of those touches? Engels, they're sublime. Give them more than half a season, for Christ's sake. Yep. I know, it's crazy. Some people just jump on the bandwagon and think that because of a player's price tag that he should be doing better. Do you think Dyson is already in the shop window, Baz? Yes. Yes, he is in the shop window. And I think that he's, even though that he's signed the new deal, the worrying thing for me is that even after Kyogo signed that new long-term deal just a year ago, that he wanted away from Celtic so bad, and he put in, but it comes down to the national team. It has come down to the national team, and that's what's happened. Anyway, it says that Celtic are set for a second bid for Lennon today. Yep, we've had one for 2.5 million turned down already. And remember, there was this video that I put out. If you go to the community section, I did put it out on the community section, posts. Oh, it's changed to posts. It's now not community section, it's post section. Do you know, oh, there's an update, by the way. If anyone wants to post, if you are a subscriber and you want to start a chat on the post section, it is now not called the community tab, it's called the post section. If you are a subscriber to the channel, you could start a chat on it. So if you want to try that out, I don't have it monitored. I don't have anything on it as yet. But if it does get a bit ridiculous and there's abuse starts and stuff like that, I will put it so that I have to have it monitored by the folk with the spanners to monitor the. Oh look. And this is the stream for a couple of months ago, where I said that Lennon Miller would be sold to Celtic. Anyway, Kenny brought back because the league is finished. Johnny Kenny was brought back because the league is finished, but there was talk. Celtic said, Brendan Rodgers said when he came back, we'll need to look at the end of the window to see whether we put him out on loan to get more first team football. Lennon Miller in, Rio is out this summer. Yep, I think we can all say that Rio Hatate will be gone this summer. Don't expect Rio Hatate to be here after this summer. Not a chance. Celtic, the new Millwall. Someone started early in the bevy. Oh, Jesus. Not a chance. Right, let me just... West Ham. Let me just go back onto... Oh, notifications. Jesus, there's another new notification. No. Sunderland. There's a lot of deals happening this morning. Will Celtic be in amongst the deadline deals early? I don't think so. It's not Celtic way. Breaking news. That's not breaking news, that. Oh, Jesus. Stay off that platform. Anyway, jump back into the comments, see what you're saying in the comments. Motherwell are on their arse. 4 million would be enough to make them blink for Miller. They want more than 4 million, but I still think that a deal for 5.3 million is on the cards today. Rio would be heartbreaking. You just put me on a downer. Why would Rio be a heart downer and going away in the summer? I think that we've had a good run with Rio Hatate. And I think that we know Rio. We need players that are going to turn up every single game for 90 minutes. And people saying that Arne Engels is a luxury player, a luxury penalty taker. Rio Hatate can sometimes be, I mean, that's just going to. Rio Hatate can sometimes be a luxury player as well. Use Maida for left back. Can't use Dyson Maida as left back. Seen Big Lager Belky scored the winner for 20. Yes, against Malmo. Yep, and they're going to put in a bid for him, 1.75 million. Engels touches. Wow, 11 million penalty taker. Done nothing since he came here. Same with Trusty, who's a big bag of nerves. If Engels is that good, how come he's always subbed? Because Brendan Rodgers needs to make sure that he keeps as many of the players happy as possible. Morning, Baz. Could you try mould Miller into a fullback? No, you wouldn't want to mould him into a fullback. Lennon Miller he's the guy that's going to take over from Callum McGregor in the middle of the park in a few years. That's where I see Lennon Miller playing. Lennon Miller is your next Scott Brown. That's how good I see Lennon Miller becoming. He's only a young guy, remember. He's only a young guy. I see Lennon Miller becoming the next Scott Brown in that mould for Celtic. Hatate is just hot and cold, like Big Samaras. Great game when they feel like it. Yep. You've got to laugh at some of the... Yeah, Anglin Ayrshire. That's why I stay at the comments as much as I can. But then when you've got to go in and read some of them are just absolutely hilarious. Bob Reed says, morning, Baz. What's the latest news today? The latest news today is... We're finishing up in 10 minutes. Latest news is Celtic have rejected West Ham's opening bid for Daniel Cummins. Daniel Cummins has signed a pre-contract agreement to head to West Ham in the summer, but Celtic are a bit short on strikers. And the fact that Brøndby have ripped the arse out of it, and the talks and the negotiations for the Brøndby striker Matthias fell to pieces on Saturday. They broke down on Saturday with Brøndby wanting too much money. Celtic have told West Ham, you could stick your 500 grand up your arse. We're keeping Daniel Cummins. If you want him right now, you need to bid more money than that. Lennon Miller, it could be a last minute deal. It is a video that I did over 2 months ago now. And I said that Celtic would get him for 5.3 million then. It looks like there will be a package put together for 5.3 million today for Lennon Miller, which will also mean him staying at Motherwell till the end of the season and then joining Celtic for pre-season, just like Brendan Rodgers wants. And then there was a story yesterday about Matthias maybe coming to Scotland because there was a private jet coming, and it is absolute nonsense. He's seemingly in Portugal on a winter training camp. And that's about it for this morning. Keep an eye on the channel. I will be going live later on. Baz, it'll be McCowan that takes over from Colmack and Miller after him. No, I think in the midfield, Ollie, in the midfield area, it will be, I think Luke McCowan will play further forward. And I think that you'll have both of them in the team at the same time. And young Miller will play in the holding position. It's just a feeling I've got. Just a feeling. I could be completely wrong. Our superstar from Portugal, scored yesterday and then shed a little tear. He was emotional. He's back. He's back and he's scoring. He's scoring for Celtic. At the same time, Kyogo went to a team that is now in relegation zone. Yes, they are in relegation zone and they look as if they're about to, they have sacked their manager. Daniel Kelly, Rocco Vata, They are the Jedward of football. They are the Jedward of football. Let me just do one last update. It is a little bit quiet. Everyone is just waking up and thinking we need to get deals done. Celtic will be the exact same. Make sure you check out the channel. I don't know exactly what time I will be going live this afternoon. There will be a live this afternoon, and then there will be the usual late night episode. We will start around about 9 o'clock Celtic Park time, maybe even earlier. We will be doing a big marathon tonight. Jota needs a haircut. Willie, it wasn't just you that was thinking that. Sky Sports News all day long. Yep, someone is cutting onions at Fir Park in my house. I am done and dusted. I will see you this afternoon, and then for the marathon deadline day bonanza tonight, when most of the deals are most likely to happen. On that note, have an absolutely fantastic day. If you haven't subscribed, get subscribing. Look, we're at 20,955. We're trying to get to 21,000. Can we get to 21,000 before the end of deadline day tonight? Who knows?
Lit. Roll up to the party. Roll up to the party. Roll up to the party. Roll up to the lit. Roll up to the party. Roll up to the party. Roll up to the party. Roll up to the lit. Roll up to the party. Roll up to the party. Roll up to the party. Roll up to the lit.